Previously on Dark Shadows of Simisola, Timothy, an undergraduate student, began hearing strange voices on the road at night and met a mysterious girl who called herself Simisola. She bear the same name as his girlfriend and one of his classmates who also was called Simisola, making it three Simisolas in Timothy's life. Even though he had never seen this mysterious girl before, she knew everything about him, appeared in his room at 2 a.m. and finally asked him, "What if I am not a human being?" Timothy's heart pounded loudly. He tried to speak, but his tongue became heavy. The mysterious Simisola stood calmly in front of him, her white dress shining softly in the darkness of the room. "Timo," she repeated, "if I tell you who I am, will you still want me?" Timothy opened his mouth, but no word came out. Instead, he slowly nodded. She smiled faintly and said, "Very well then, listen carefully." She sat down on his chair and told him a strange story. A long time ago, she began, there was a young girl who lived in the nearby village. She was rejected by her family and her best friend betrayed her. Heartbroken, she wandered into the forest, where a spirit appeared to her. "Do you want power or do you want love?" the spirit asked her. She chose love. The spirit smiled and gave her an internal charm, a white wrist bangle that allowed her to appear in the life of the person whose heart belonged to her soul. As Timothy looked at her wrist, he finally noticed it, a white bangle. She raised her eyes slowly to meet his. "You, Timo, are the one whose heart matches mine," she said. Timothy couldn't understand. "But we only met a few days ago," he said. She shook her head. "No, we met a year ago in your compound. The day you helped me and Ifeoluwa cut pumpkin leaves at night. You spoke kindly to me and smiled. From that day, my spirit followed you, every day, every night," she told him. Timothy felt chills run down his spine. "So why are you appearing now?" he asked. She stood up and walked towards the door. "Because your life is in danger. If I don't protect you, you will pass away very soon," she replied. Timothy's eyes widened. "Pass away? Why?" he asked. Just then, there was a loud knock on the door. Timothy jumped. The mysterious Simisola placed her finger on her lips. "Do not open that door," she told him. The knocking continued louder and faster. "Timo, open the door," someone said from outside. Timo recognized the voice. It was his girlfriend's voice, another lady who coincidentally was named Simisola. The mysterious Simisola looked into Timo's eyes. "If you open that door, she will enter into your shadow and follow you forever," she said. Timothy looked confused. "Enter into my shadow? What are you talking about?" he asked. Another loud knock. "Timo, it is me. Open the door," the lady from outside said. The mysterious Simisola suddenly disappeared. Timothy turned around, but she was gone. With shaking hands, he opened the door and his girlfriend Simisola walked in, smiling. "Why were you taking so long?" she asked him while hugging him. But as she walked into the room, Timothy noticed something terrifying beneath her feet. Her shadow was facing the opposite direction. It was moving on its own. Timothy stepped back slowly, not believing what he was seeing. His girlfriend looked at him and smiled. "What is it? You look like you have seen a ghost," she asked. Timothy couldn't speak. He looked down again. The shadow moved slightly. His heart began to race. His girlfriend moved closer and whispered, "Timo, don't be afraid. I told you my dreams always come true." At that moment, all the lights in the room suddenly went off. There was total darkness. Timothy shouted, "Jesus!" but his mouth was covered by an unseen hand. Timothy tried to scream, but something pressed tightly over his mouth. He could hear breathing, not his own, right beside his ear. A deep whisper echoed in the darkness. "Don't move and don't say a word," a voice said. Timothy's heart pounded like a drum. Suddenly, the hand released him and vanished into thin air. The light flickered and the bulb came back on. The room was empty. Timothy looked around in fear. His girlfriend was no longer there, and the door was wide open. He swallowed hard, confused and terrified at the same time. He gently walked to the door and stepped outside. The corridor was silent. Far in the distance, he heard the faint bark of a dog, but nothing more. Suddenly, his phone rang loudly in his hand. He looked at the screen, and it was an unknown caller. Timothy shook his head and ignored the call. It rang again. This time, he answered slowly. "Hello," Timothy answered. There was silence for a few seconds. Then a familiar voice whispered, "They are already in your shadow, Timo. Be careful." The voice said, and the call ended. Timothy stood frozen. That was the voice of the mysterious Simisola. He was very sure. The next morning, he forced himself out of bed and decided to go to class as if nothing had happened. As he walked across the school field, he noticed 3 girls on the other side of the path. All of them were laughing loudly. Suddenly, all 3 turned at the same time, and all 3 of them had the same face, Simisola. Timothy blinked. When he opened his eyes again, the girls were normal and walking away casually. His hands started shaking. Something was clearly wrong. Later that day, Timothy went to the fellowship center on campus and met the pastor there. "Brother Timothy," the pastor said, "the Lord has been laying you heavily on my heart." "What is going on?" the pastor asked. Timothy hesitated, then poured out everything: the strange voice, the mysterious girl, the dream, the strange shadow. The pastor sighed and said, "Not all that appears friendly is from God. Some spirits takes the form of the person your heart desire, so that you won't resist them. You must be careful," he warned. He placed a Bible in Timothy's hands and said, "Tonight at midnight, read Psalm 27 aloud, and do not leave your room. No matter what you hear, do not open the door," he instructed. Timothy nodded slowly, even though fear filled his heart. He thanked the pastor and went home. That night at 11:59 p.m., Timothy sat on his bed with a candle lit and Bible in his hand. He glanced at the clock and it moved to 12 a.m. He opened his mouth and started reading. "The Lord is my light and my salvation," he said. Before he could finish, a soft knock came from the door. Timothy remembered the pastor's warning. "No matter what you hear, do not open the door," the pastor had instructed him. He kept reading, but the knocking continued. Then a familiar voice spoke outside. "Timo, it is me. Please open. I brought you food." It was Simisola, his girlfriend. Timothy's eyes filled with tears. He wanted to open the door. "Timo, please, I am scared. Let me in," she said. He stood up and slowly walked towards the door. Suddenly, the Bible fell from the bed on its own and opened to Psalm 27. The candle flame rose straight up like a torch. Timothy realized it was a warning. He stepped away from the door, trembling. From outside, the voice changed. "Timo, if you won't open the door, then I will come in through another way," the voice said. Suddenly, a cold breeze blew into the room. The candle went out, and right in front of him, the mysterious Simisola appeared in the corner of the room, smiling. "You were warned, but you didn't listen," she said. She began to walk slowly towards him. Who exactly is this mysterious Simisola? Is she a spirit of protection or the one sent to destroy Timo's life? If you are new to this story, do well to watch episode 1, available on this channel. If you want to know what happens next, make sure you subscribe to African Story Village by Anegbe Peter and turn on the notification bell. Drop a comment below. Should Timothy run or stand and pray? Final episode coming very soon.